Hi, my name's Rachel Berry, and this is how you sign my name in New Zealand Sign Language. As you can see, I'm a deaf person. I was born into a deaf family. I grew up using New Zealand Sign Language. That's my main mode of communication. I completed my social work degree in 2021 with the Open Polytechnic, and now I'm studying my Masters at Massey University. So I was born into a deaf family. I'm the fourth child. My older brothers and sister are all profoundly deaf. I, on the other hand, do have some hearing. My parents are profoundly deaf as well, so I kind of became the communicator in the family growing up. And because of that, now as an adult, I advocate for others. Throughout my childhood, I saw the discrimination that was happening to my parents and older siblings, and I held on to that for a very, very long time. And I felt like, wow, there are other deaf people out there that also need someone to advocate for them. And so that's why I decided to go into social working. I started studying face-to-face with a different provider, and I really struggled with that because I just didn't feel my needs were being met as a student. The live lectures didn't have interpreters, and I wasn't provided with transcripts. So then when I moved to online studying, it made a huge difference. The team that were managing my online study just listened to all of my feedback and made sure they provided what I needed, captions for videos, transcripts, and so on. It was such a completely different studying environment for me, and I found it absolutely amazing. So that's why I continued studying with them. So my social working program, mostly it was online, but we also had components that were face-to-face, for example, face-to-face workshops. And so we had to prepare for going on placement. And we had a 3-month placement that we needed to complete. And being a deaf student, I had to ensure that the hearing organisation that I was going to would accept me as a deaf student. But also, I had to organise interpreters, and I knew it would be expensive, so I had to talk to the interpreting agencies to find out the actual cost for the interpreters for the 3 months. And I was told it would be about $96,000, which is a huge cost. And I sat there and I thought, well, how am I going to pay for this? I knew straight away I couldn't do my placement and I was going to fail my degree. And so what I did is I talked to the educational provider and I said, I don't have the funds to cover that cost, and I know it's a big ask for the educational provider to cover that cost. And they said, look, don't worry, Rachel, we'll sort something out. We'll find a solution together with you. And fortunately, everything worked out in the end. The educational provider found extra funding to cover the interpreting costs. We found an organisation that would accept me on placement, and we found interpreters who were available for the 3-month period. And they came from 8:30 in the morning until 5 every day for 3 months. So it all worked out. I think if the provider hadn't been so accepting of me as a deaf student and didn't really want to work alongside me and my needs, or want to have such a great relationship with me and support me through my studies, then that would have been a very different story. My study space always varies. I go to different places. I'm a bit of a procrastinator, I have to say. I normally study in my bed or in an office or in the lounge room or outside on a bench. I can study wherever. I will take my laptop with me, and that's all I really need as a tool to study. So when I was studying online, we had a number of videos that were provided to us that were part of the course, and they didn't have captioning and they didn't have a transcript. And so obviously as a deaf person, I can't hear that. So I talked to the provider and I said, can you provide captioning? Can you provide a transcript? And they said to me that they could. And so that made the course completely accessible to me as a deaf person, and it made a huge difference. So if a deaf student is studying for the first time at tertiary level, the best thing you can do is contact the disability services, because they can provide you with things that you need. For example, interpreters and note takers. They can help support your studies so that you can achieve your degree. They have a specialist team there. That's probably the first thing I would recommend people do, is contact the disability services team. When I was studying, there were face-to-face workshops, so I would have interpreters that were doing a live interpretation, but it meant that I couldn't watch them and take notes to review the information later. And so what I would do is film the interpreters, and then later I could re-watch the workshop or lecture. I would write down the physical notes from what I'd seen on the video, so I created my own visual notes. That was awesome. It was really successful. Well, I think the huge success is that I've actually been able to complete my degree. That's the first thing. Through my learning journey, the fact that I got accepted into social working is an achievement for a deaf person. That I've been able to go on placement in a hearing organisation, that's a huge challenge for a deaf person to be able to do. Being raised in deaf culture, then having to adapt to hearing culture, because our cultures are completely different, it was a challenge, but I persevered. I got through my assignments and passed. And so if I hadn't achieved my degree, then I wouldn't have been able to carry on with additional study and do my master's. So when I was studying, what kept me going was to have a bucket list, and on it are the New Zealand Great Walks. For every year of study, I do one Great Walk. So I've been ticking them off. New Zealand has 10 Great Walks, and I've done 5 of those so far. So when I finish my master's, I'm going to try and get to at least 8 out of 10. I'm really looking forward to that. So that's something I do additionally that helps me out. So when I completed my degree, I had a dream that I wanted to work with deaf people in a deaf environment and support my community. And then I achieved a position here in deaf education as a social worker. I work with a number of deaf students in this environment, and I support them and their families to achieve their educational goals. This has really pushed me to study my master's, so long may it continue, and I really want to encourage more deaf people to do further study in the future, more than what has ever happened before.